And welcome to Rick Snider's YouTube. Rick Snider's Worst on YouTube, where you get the whole thing. So you can tell I'm Russian here. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And welcome aboard. Nobody's here yet, but you'll be here in a minute. And as long as I'm doing the regular thing, if you want to get my book, some of you ordered yesterday, 100 Things Commanders fans should know and do before they die, an old book. Hey, Steve, thanks for coming. You can get it at Amazon, or you can get it on my Venmo platform or Facebook. Let me type that up real quick. And just trying to finish cutting grass. Been one of those days since last yesterday. Okay, there you go. All right, so Steve, thank you for coming. Everybody here. Bob Baker's here already. Okay, so we're going to talk tonight through the Washington Commanders' second round picks, not the third because I got to work, getting things done by then. So ask away whatever you want. I'm kind of glad, in a way, I'm kind of glad they didn't trade the 2 second rounders because I kind of realized midway through the 20s, and what value are you really getting here at this point? You might as well just wait for have the number 36 pick tonight, which is the fourth one to pick in the second round. And then, 15, 20 minutes later, they get the 40th overall pick, that Montez Sweat trade. So I thought, for what the value of what you're looking at, you might as well do it. They also have 3 picks in the third, the 67, 78, and 100. And then that's about the end of the draft, basically, tonight. Then tomorrow starts noon. I don't think I'm going to be live tomorrow, but noon is rounds 4 through 7. I remember when we did all this in one day, and it was one long day. So I'm not sure which is better or worse. I'm sorry, there's a fifth, but the fifth is tomorrow. So the fifth tomorrow, there's no fourth rounder. They have a fifth rounder right now, 139 and 152, which is Seattle's. No sixth rounder. Then they have a seventh rounder at 222. So overall, today's the really end of the draft. I mean, a couple of fifths and a seventh. Maybe you get a Sam Howell, but most years you don't really get much in there. So this is really it. How many rounds the draft had when it started? I think it was 8 when I was starting. I don't think it was 12. Man, it used to go on forever. It used to have like 30 rounds or so. Way back, like in World War II era, they had more than 30 rounds because out of the 30 plus guys they picked, maybe they get 6 of them to show up because one, the NFL didn't pay a lot, and two, the war was going on. So that's why they just drafted so much. Well, I guess they could have just done free agency and gone and got who they wanted. The Wine Fox, we were really excited about the first 2 picks tonight. Yeah, I mean, it could be good. Should be round pick overall. Okay. Wine Fox has their own way to do it. And nothing wrong with that. I saw somebody today sent me a illustration they've been doing on the new RFK Stadium. Should that happen? And it was pretty awesome. But there was a lot of American imagery to it. I said, you understand the Redskins thing is not coming back. And he said something I hadn't really thought about. He goes, well, I know that. He says, but maybe the Braves, because this was the Boston Braves when they first started as a franchise. And there's a bunch of Braves pro teams, so it's kind of hard to claim exclusivity like Minnesota was or whatever. And then you could have the Indian imagery back. I don't think that was a bad idea at all. So we'll see what happens. But, if you want something, sometimes you got to fight for what you want. Dan Snider was on his way out the door, and he was on his heels, so he couldn't do any of that. Bob wants to know, which way is the team going to go tonight? O-line, CB? I don't know that there's an O-lineman there worth taking versus they could get some really good, say, a corner. They could get McKistry, get the Kool-Aid. And there's, some really good receivers in that spot because when you took 6 quarterbacks and 9 offensive linemen, that's 15 guys. It's almost half the first round of the draft. So there are lots of skills position guys who are better than where they're being drafted in the second round. So you're getting value there. And I think they probably are going to go receiver and corner with those two picks, and kind of got to read the room as to what's going quickly. Those first three picks, is there a trend? You got to grab your guy now because he won't be there a few picks later, even though it's just three picks in between their two picks. But you can, you read the room and try and figure it out. I mean, I'm sure they spent all night doing this. It's a backbreaker of a schedule for guys like Adam Peters. I mean, look at yesterday. Yesterday was usually on draft day when the nights the staffs convene at noon. They let people sleep in, get a little bit of rest because the next 3 days are going to be a bear. They get done around midnight. They usually meet for a little while to kind of reset the board, and everybody goes home and come back at noon again today. Once again, they'll be working till midnight or so, and then they take a break, and then usually they're back by like 8 a.m. on Saturday, and noon starts at noon. I think the draft went 5 somewhere in there. But then everybody's hustling to sign the undrafted free agents, and that's a good couple hours of a serious chase doing that. So for 3 days, these guys are all putting in, 12, 14-hour days. So I'm even tired, and I'm not even doing all that. Okay, White Fox, Cooper or Kool-Aid? I think I'd go Kool-Aid. Coleman would be a nice pick, too. Caveat, top 3 draft pizza places in Maryland. It's on theme. Well, okay, so let's see. In Maryland, there's a place called Pizza Hotline, but it's not a pizza place. It's a pizza delivery place. And Charlotte Hall, where I live, man, they make great pizza, and they have some, they have some creativity to it. I will say this: I ate at Am Pizza in DC recently. Was pretty disappointed in it. It was a lot of crust, a lot of crust, not much else. I wasn't real impressed. I'd only eaten there once before. So pizza parlors. There's a nice place down the National Harbor. I forget its name. It's right there in the middle of National Harbor. If you're going Saturday to National Harbors for the Fan Fest, I think it starts around 11 or 12. You can eat there. It's a family friendly place too. Other than that, Kate, I'm sorry. I'm kind of a little spacing on that. I am getting ready to announce my combination tour guide commanders talk where we're going to go do Old Town Alexandria. I am just confirming some things before I give out the date. It'll be in June on a Saturday. And we'll go do like a 90-minute walking tour of Old Town Alexandria. A lot of great history stuff. George Washington's old house, the Spite House, Torpedo Factory. I mean, you name it. There's like 17 stops we can do in 90 minutes. That's how it's like every 10 feet there's something. The first shots of the Civil War, first deaths. So we did that for about 90 minutes, and then I finished near a pizza place. I've got to confirm everything, and then we'll talk commanders all you want for an hour or two. You'll buy your own pizza. So I'm working on that. That'll be announced soon. I might try and nail it down tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so Bob says, I like Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver from Georgia. All right. Not flashy, but talented. I mean, I want a big target. Best availability, says Matthew. That's going to be some of it. There. And I also had I had a name written down here I was going to talk about. You think I would remember it. So let me pull it up real quick. Let's see. And I don't have it here. Okay. I'll pull it up here in a second. But there was a receiver I really liked. Maybe so Corey McKinstry I really like too. I think he could be one of them. And I'm sorry, let me pull up this other one real quick. Well, and also for cornerbacks, Minnesota's Enos Rakestraw. As a baller, this dude goes after offensive linemen straying downfield for blocks. He takes them on. Texas receiver, Adonai Mitchell. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Good, tall, red zone, runs good routes, fast. I mean, I think he could be one too. I don't know where they have him ranked on the available players, but that's another guy. So do you want the receiver or corner first? I think in what you need more, I think probably corner, but we'll see. Steve, thank you for chipping in. I hadn't even got to this yet about you can hit that $ under the YouTube page where you down here somewhere. I don't know. and donate to the cause because I do this for you guys, and this is the new world of media where you help pay for things. So I always appreciate any contributions to the cause. Helps keep me in from being in the poorhouse. Wow, looking at ESPN, I got the sound off, but where I have NFL draft going. So, man, huge crowd. They were saying yesterday 275,000 at Detroit, but the cops were putting out that it was 400,000. I don't know. It was a massive amount of people. I hope they bring it to Washington at some point, and I live to see it. Who knows? Towns that don't get Super Bowl should be getting this event. It's been a huge success wherever it goes. Just like, the NFL's everywhere. Now the NFL is expanding in Europe. Look how big the games were. Like in Germany, Germany loves the NFL. Well, they're going to Brazil this year. I'm sure it'll do great. Would it do great if they had a team every week? Probably. NFL, man, it's a billionaires club. It just keeps on going. DJ, why are so many fans worried about the coming season's record? Better than last year, but that's a low bar. Yeah. I think that this year, if the quarterback works out, and I'm optimistic on it, I think Daniels was a good pick. Wasn't the guy I thought they were picking. I have nothing against them. People are always like, "You don't like him." I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. I just said I liked McCarthy, but there's nothing wrong with Daniels. So um, there's a lot of positives about him. And if he can play halfway decent, I think they can be a 500 team. And then next year, maybe they can be a wild card team. So you keep trying to move forward every year. Bert, he's in sunny England where it's like dark now, right? Because it's like 11 o'clock or so. But I appreciate it. Yesterday, we had somebody from Hungary that was watching me and trying to see what was going on in the draft. Gotta love the internet world on all this. So let's see, what time is it? It's 6:43 here. So we've got 17 minutes till the draft officially starts. I thought yesterday kind of went faster than I expected, and yet it was still like 5 minutes before midnight when it finished. I stayed, tuned to it because I thought maybe Washington's going to draft somebody late in the first round. Maybe they'll make that. And today, last night, Adam Peters did say they made some calls and they just couldn't make a deal happen. So they did, and I didn't want to go to sleep, and then they picked somebody at the end. So it was late. Kind of like tonight, I guess. By the time we get to the end of the fourth, it's going to be, or I'm sorry, the end of the third. It's going to be late, but Washington's big stuff's right away. But then the third, they've got 3 picks, so kind of a full evening. Get your popcorn out. A lot to talk about. DJ, offensive, defensive lines is where the games are won. Absolutely, all big guys think that's true. I mean, but it is true. If you can't block offensively, you can't get anything done. If you can't stop anybody defensively on the line, you can't win. So it's all true. They're kind of I think, taken for granted. Linemen, everybody talks about pass rushers on the edge, but the tackles are just as important. I think if I was building a team, you definitely want to build your 2 lines. And this team, they didn't draft anybody for years, and then suddenly every year they're making their big picks on the D line, and unfortunately, some of those guys weren't as good as they hoped, and so they're starting over in a lot of respects. So, yeah. But tonight we get, we get to see the Montez Sweat pick happen. So we see basically what they got for getting rid of Montez Sweat at midseason instead of letting him walk as a free agent. Gives him a pick, and then Chase's pick is near the end of the night, but that's another one. The grievance capitalist says, I don't think JJ would take Darnold's job this year. Maybe not first week, but I bet you eventually, sometime this season, I think he will. I guess the biggest thing I was surprised about yesterday was Penix's pick. In Atlanta, wait a minute, you just gave Kirk Cousins $100 million, although it's a 2-year deal, not a 4-year deal. So, and Penix is older, right? So, I mean, you're basically telling Penix to sit for at least a year or 2 behind Kirk. That's kind of it was a strange way to invest your money so much in a veteran and then a first round pick. But that's their problem, All right. Let's see. Mark, 2 draft videos for you. Great to watch some more draft action. Well, I wasn't committing till tonight till I saw they hadn't drafted hadn't traded those 2s. they had traded the twos last night, then there really wasn't anything to talk about today. So, okay, we're here. Bert, okay, in Liverpool. All right, it's midnight at the Oasis. Okay, send your camels to bed. Younger guys may not know that song, but I'm not going to be a belly dancer. Well, this isn't OnlyFans. I still tease people I'm going to start an OnlyFans site. Man, those people make money. If I could make that kind of money, I probably would too. But I'll probably be paying people to watch instead of the other way around on there. So it is. We've got 13 minutes till Goodell or all the other people will come out. Man, Goodell was struggling yesterday. I mean, I know the man had back surgery 3 weeks ago. You could see him walking gingerly. Was even having trouble saying some stuff. Maybe it was a lot of pain. Maybe some of those bear hugs. I'm sure they told players, don't be hugging them. And some of them did pretty hard. So maybe, the man was a warrior to get through the thing. Man, you know how tired you are at the end of that. I covered 5 Super Bowls. You get back to the hotel about 2 a.m. after, a 14-hour day. And you got to be at a press conference at like 8:30. Man, it's huge. But the best food at any press thing I've ever eaten is Super Bowl, pregame and postgame. During the game, they give you a bag lunch, is what I got. But pregame, postgame, befitting something worth, $1 billion event. Any competition being brought in to challenge McManus? Bob asked. Don't know the answer to that. I'm still working on things. After this is done, we have the next big thing is a May 10th rookie camp day that the media can see. So it's 2 weeks away. That's when we'll get the first real look at McDaniels on the field, just even if it's just running around on the grass. And then they start doing weekly OTAs and mini camp for about 5 weeks. And then everybody gets to take a breath for about 6 weeks. And then here comes training camp again. Yeah, people always ask me, what do you do in the off season? There's always something going on. Oh, it's like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. Things are quiet some years. Last year wasn't with the sale. So usually the quietest time of year is late June to mid-July because NFL people do go on vacation then. I will be at the rookie camp for an hour. And then I have a doctor's appointment I can't miss. It's out there. So I've got to leave halfway through. But that's the way it goes. Bert likes corner or DL at 36 and OT or LB at 40. I mean, I could easily see any of that. Luke, thank you so much. And what kind of draft would Rick Snider go first overall? Mean Bastards. How about that? In my prime, it would have been that. I'm getting old now and nicer. I've got grandkids now, so I can't be meany anymore. Mean newspaper guys that grind like hell. That was my superpower. Being able to size up people quickly and know who's a fool and who's not. I'm pretty good at that. I used to be pretty good at eating, but not so much anymore. The young guys will bury me now on all of that. So maybe in my prime when I was much bigger, I'm down 65 plus pounds from my peak. Because when you get older, you realize, dude, you either got to take care of yourself and lose this weight and get better, or you're going to die. It's your choice. So, and then one day, about 2 years ago, I suddenly am on the ground in my house on the floor. Can't move my right side, and I thought, oh my God, I'm having a stroke. And my age, this is it. It's COVID. Well, nobody could go in the hospital with me. It turned out to be a disc in my back, of all things, that just did a big muscle spasm. Took them about 6 months to figure that out. Healthcare, man, trying to get appointments and getting things done anymore is hard. So after those come the Jesus moments, you kind of try not to eat as much. I think it's nature's way of just saying we've invested enough food in you. You don't have a lot of time left. We're going to give that food to the younger people, and you're going to eat less. Honestly, I think that's the truth. That's how nature works it. DJ, what do you think about O-line and D-line eligible for Hall of Fame as a unit? Nah, no, because the Hall of Fame, I've had long discussions about this. It's not the Hall of pretty good or real good. It's supposed to be a Hall of greatness. And that means that you were the best at your position during your prime. Well, you're not the best, then you're not a Hall of Famer. And if you do a line collectively, there's going to be people who really don't deserve to be in. So I wouldn't do that. I am glad that they decided to retire Daryl Green's number. Daryl's going to be announcing I think the second round pick tonight, because tonight they let players do it. Let's see, Nectar. Who do you think Adam will go after the second round? I'm not sure yet. I mean, I put out a few. I wrote my column for 1067 The Fan today and mentioned McKistry is definitely, I think, on the board for them on there. But they pick fourth tonight. So three other people can have a shot at Kool-Aid before them. Mike, dedicate all today's picks on O-line. Well, that's it's five offensive linemen. The problem is they're just not worth the pick at that spot now. And I think they're going to have to go with a veteran free agent or something, or maybe Cornelius Lucas at left tackle this year and go for the guy next year. Nectar, what do I think of Cooper? Well, I mean, he's highly rated on all that. He's a little off my radar to say a whole lot on it. I can't follow everybody and everything on there. There's grass to cut. I have 3 acres, 3 plus. I was trying to hit it as fast as that John Deere would go today. In between all the draft stuff, it's like working on the draft this morning, looking at things, and then take a break, do your work, and come back and hit this evening. One of them long days, but you try and be productive with the time. That's where I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm good at multitasking, Hall of Famer. All right. And we got 7 minutes. Okay. Until we start. Man, it looks like a big crowd in Detroit. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Man, that's more Lions fans than have been in the stadium for 10 years. Oh, well. Just think if they have it here, how many, if they had the NFL draft here, let's say next year, I'm sure a lot of you in town would go. Would you wear a Redskins jersey? Would you wear a Commanders jersey? I have a feeling you'd see more Redskin jerseys. Just like I haven't looked at it hard in the stadium because the fans have been outnumbered so much this past year. The first game of the season, it was an event. Washingtonians do very well at events, and they won the game, and it was a happy day. And they had the crowd was like Boston. They had Arizona, so there's no Cardinals fans around here, so it's like a 90% home crowd. And after that, I think once they were about even, and the rest they were the smaller amount of fans. The visiting fans were more. So it's hard to count Commanders versus Redskins jerseys, but I still think you see more Redskins jerseys overall. Let's see, grievance. At this point, O-line is a reach. I kind of agree that just the way the cards have fallen. So, I mean, who takes non-offensive linemen in the first round? I think that was a record. One of them was a center and near the end. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can get yourself a stud center and you're picking in the 20s, go for it. If you can find yourself a stud anything outside of kicker, I mean, but the Raiders took the Polish kicker that time years ago. Everyone laughed. That dude lasted for like a decade or so. So, I find it funny that people talk too about quarterbacks and they go, this quarterback's 23 versus this guy's 21. Do you think that this guy is staying here 20 years and those 2 years will factor at the end? I mean, most guys are only here a few years max. So who cares what age they are to start? There's not many guys. I mean, the only time I'd worry about age is if I was looking at a free agent. He was suddenly like past 35. That's when I'd worry about his age, not if he's 21 or 23 on there. Best talent available, says Bird. Probably in the end, because they have enough needs that they can really do that. Nectar said he likes that Peters tried to get back to the first. Yeah, he did say that last night. But, you can offer a trade, but that doesn't mean the other side's going to take it. Antoinette, do I think the fans will return to the stadium this season? I do in one respect. The visiting schedule is not a lot of great teams coming in that would carry a huge fan base. So if nothing else, there may be more empty seats because those fans aren't there. I think Washington fans, with it's a new owner, it's a new GM, it's a new coach, it's a new quarterback. I mean, that's the big thing you're bringing in for hope. I would say if they can get off to a fair start, like 2-2, I think more fans will be hanging in there for a while. But once they get bad, if they end up like suddenly 3-6, then fans won't come. So I think there'll be more. I mean, my guess last year was 70% overall were visiting fans for the 10 home games. Well, if we throw out, there was two. Was there? Yeah, there was two preseason last year. This year there'll just be one. Schedule will be out 2-3 weeks from now. We'll see it then. There's only one home game this year. They have 9 regular season home games. But I'd say last year was about 70%. Clayton, Trust plays a game of ping pong for number 5. Okay. I know didn't see a Jaden jersey today with a number on it. They just had a 1 for first round. You can order your Jaden jersey, but not with 1. Tell me what his number is. Get that jersey. That's what that's what I say. I saw he said Caleb Williams broke Caitlin. Now I can't remember Caitlin. I'm talking about the young lady basketball player for jersey sales first night. Caleb hit it huge. So Chicago's big market. Okay, good luck with that. That's going on there. I worry about Washington more than I worry about other people. Nectar, I think a lot of it was because Rivera gave a timeline, didn't meet expectations. True. I mean, suddenly he's trying to revise it and backdate more. First it was like 3 to 5, and then it was like 5. And what is this? Soviet Union? We don't have 5-year plans in the NFL. Look at Houston. They drafted right. They got a good quarterback, and they were back in it right away. You can do that in the NFL. That's what's great about the NFL is the balance. Hit the thumbs up button for me if you haven't, because if you're not going to donate money to the cause, then at least just for free, hit the thumbs up button. It makes the algorithm happy. That's why I start every show talking about please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm talking to the algorithm before you guys log on because it's those keywords that the algorithm goes, ooh, okay, we like you. We'll send you people. That's just how it works. So if you hit the thumbs up, 3 of you just did. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you later on want to get my book, you can go to Amazon if you like, The 100 Things Commanders, or you can go, I'll put it here in the chat. You can get on Venmo or PayPal from me. Oops, wrong one. That was a story for something. Somebody I knew died. Okay. I had the wrong thing in there. I was sending somebody an obituary. An old teacher of ours passed away today. I sent it to classmates. Good man, James Richmond. Did a great job in his life. He passed away. I think he was in his 80s. So that's what that's about. Sorry. Okay. But anyway, you can get a Commander's book if you like. If you don't like to, you don't have to. It's not, an oppressive society here. But you can at least hit the thumbs up button. 8 of you did. So thanks for that. Is Franklin Hall a new pub there? Because they were saying that all the fans were lighting the place up after the reveal of Daniels. I haven't seen, I don't know about Franklin Hall. I don't know every pub anymore. I'm not 21 anymore. I could have told you pubs more a few decades ago. Not so much now. That's another part about getting old. You got to cut back on vices or else you're not going to be here. Yeah. It sucks, but it's true. You can get away with anything. I'm going to tell you, you can get away with anything in your 20s, even your 30s. By your 40s, your body's starting to bark at you. By your 50s, some of your friends are starting to disappear, that had a lifetime of misbehavior. And by your 60s, you're going to funerals far more than you are weddings. Isn't that a positive note to start? And here we are at 7 o'clock, and it is, here they go. They're going to kick off. What's the odds on ESPN going to break for the Command? They didn't do it last night. I'll give them credit. They held in there. But tonight, they got some chances. They got 5 chances to do it. I bet that would be the good over-under. How many times out of the 5 do they go to break? I'd say at least twice. Now, they may trade too. We'll see what happens. 3/3, I could see where they try and get 2 of those 3s together, try and move up to grab somebody. Say losing, it's a lot of 3s. But hey, take them if you can get good players. So Clayton says they can get a vet for left tackle. True. I mean, for a year, I guess you have to get by. He went Kool-Aid and an edge. I'm not as pressed on having to get edge guys this year. But whatever. Put Patella in Arlington for pizza. Okay, DJ, I'll put down. Somebody gave me a recommendation for a pizza place recently, and I went there. I wasn't impressed. It was okay. But it wasn't as good as, pizza's everybody's personal feelings. All right, here it is. You're looking live at Detroit, and everybody's getting ready. I love that band they had on the stage last night. I wonder how in the world those poor people played for like 4 hours and stopped every, so many minutes. Right as Goodell's walking out, they stop the song, and there's an art form to that. So, all right, so here we go. Finally, somebody else is going to talk besides me. A lot of blue, a lot of blue, a lot of Detroit trendy. I mean, Detroit used to be such a great team. Like another one we know that met, and they met in the '91 NFC Championship, and after that, neither team has done a whole lot. But Detroit is getting better. You need a good coach. You need a good coach. You need a good owner, and you need somebody picking players. It's not rocket science, but there is a science to it, and that's what Dan Snyder never understood. He just thought, anybody can do this. Yeah, well, okay. Dan wanted to give up numbers that were retired unofficially. He gave up the 3 by Mosley, gave it to Jeff George, and watched that blow up. And then they gave up Joe Theismann 7 to Haskins, and that didn't work out. And poor kid later died. So sometimes you shouldn't give up these numbers. But as they keep expanding rosters, it's going to be hard. Yeah, I see Mitchell is one of the best availables now. So is Kool-Aid. So I'm not the only person looking at that. Cooper's right there. McConkey is another one. I mean, there's some good players here. Washington's first pick is going to be a good player, just outside the first round. So Rakestraw's right there. I like. They're going to get somebody decent here at it. So are we on the clock? Doesn't have a clock on it yet, but they should be. The NFL, they love to drag things out. Clayton says some people want Ayuk because of the ties to San Francisco. Could be. I could see that. Oh no, a bunch of people left. They all figured to watch it on TV instead of sitting here with me. I don't blame you. Well, Nectar, as far as money a player wants, it's really slotted. I mean, when I covered the team as a beat writer years ago, you got what you got. But now everything is pretty slotted, and there's a little wiggle room in how you structure it. But by and large, the money is the money, and you can't. My favorite holdout, there's a few of them I covered. My favorite holdout was punter Matt Turk, who was represented by his brother on the team, Dan Turk, who was the deep snapper. Dan Turk came to camp because he was under contract, and he practiced and all that. And after practice, he'd meet with the reporters and tell us what was going on with Matt's contract and everything. I think Matt held out like a week, and he would just sit there on silent, tell us all what's going on. I thought, this is so weird that your brother is holding out, but you're here because you have a contract, but he's not here. I mean, never saw anything like that all the years. And Cashley was a GM, and he was burning because basically here's a player who's the agent telling us everything. They worked it out. Matt was a great punter. I mean, until Trustway came along, Matt was the best post-World War II player punting that they had. I used to marvel at how high he could punt and on the practice field at Redskin Park. He could clear the trees. Now, this was 25 years ago, and so I assume the trees are a lot taller. Trustway clears those trees no problem. So whenever they sell the park in the next couple of years and decide where they want to go to next, the park will turn into another one of those internet server buildings and all be paved over. And they pave paradise and put up a parking lot. That's what's going to be coming. Kind of sad. Think you spend your life somewhere and working, and then it's paved over. Well, it's like the trees around where you used to live as a kid are all paved and they're now parking lots. I don't remember him getting his nose taken off, Steve. I don't remember that. Matt, the Turk brothers were fun. A little crazy, maybe a lot crazy, but they were fun. And poor Dan died within a year of retirement. Had testicular cancer that they found like a month after he retired. And that was right after that fumble, a bad snap that cost him the Tampa Bay playoff game. And then he wasn't under contract anymore. Dan Snider liked to say he fired him, but actually his contract expired. He wouldn't have brought him back anyway, but that's beside the point. Reggie Roby was good. He also passed away at a young age. Dan found out like a month after. I think he suspected something was wrong, but didn't want to say anything. And that was in February. He was diagnosed, and really by the fall, he was in bad, bad shape and passed away right around Christmas. Um, on that, it's really sad. He was a crazy guy. He was a Raider mostly for life, and he was what the Raiders were back then. Oh man, they're just taking forever, huh? They're just what is it, 7:06? We're still not on the clock or anything. Okay, let's try and get somebody out here. Looks like it's big. Well, I wouldn't say it's quite as big a crowd as last night, but it's but then again, it's just starting. So it's still a serious crowd. I mean, NFL, it's a free experience. Come do it. So tomorrow at National Harbor during the afternoon, they're having the Commanders one. I haven't seen a timeline for the players, but there's going to be a lot of players around, and you can come hang out with everybody at National Harbor. So well worth it. It's free, so nice to do. Uh, Clayton really wants yuck. Well, we'll find out in about 10 minutes. Here comes Goodell finally saying, "Hey, everybody, let's see. Are they booing him?" Um, yeah, yeah, they're booing him. Okay, a tradition, a fine American one at that, where we hate on people. Sure, that's America today. Why not? All right, so here we go. Oh, people asked me why wasn't Magic there last night. There was a really big Lakers reunion last night out in L.A., and I saw the picture that Magic tweeted it, I think, and he was out there for that. And listen, if it comes down to just being an extra owner at something or a Lakers event, Lakers events are going to win. You know, that's just how it is. Oh, yeah, okay. So Goodell says there's already 230,000 there. Well, if there's 275 yesterday, I'd say that's a fair number to say today. I don't know why the cops say 400. You'd think the NFL would say 400 and the cops would say 270. Um, Nobody can get crowd counts right. We stopped doing it at presidential inaugurals in DC because politicians were all trying to sway the number their way, and the park, national park people in charge finally just said, "Screw it, we're not getting in the middle of this." So we'll see. We'll see who's picked next year. I don't pick presidential elections. I just vote in them. I always say presidential elections really don't get going till 6 months out. So really, in about a week, it's 6 months till the election. That's when things get really serious, and that's when if there's a big major calamity and economic change, things like that, they all factor in. But it has the last 6 months is when people pick their votes because you're not thinking about who you're voting for right now. You're just living your life. So living in Washington D.C., we hear this more than you guys probably, but try and tune it out too. I tour guide a lot. People ask me about it. People often say, this town's really nice. And I go, well, yeah, it's a nation's capital. We want it to be a nice town for you. They go, oh, TV. I say, well, TV's talking about Congress and the president. That's not us. We just live here. Those are the people you send. You don't like them, send somebody new. That's how it works. It's called elections. Every 2 years, send in who you want. So we saw a lot of real estate back and forth that way. We get a lot of young people in town. There's a lot of young people in DC, 20 somethings, who go to college here. We have 7 universities, and then people, they get their first government job, pays well, they stick around for a while, but eventually they want to go home, or it's very expensive to live in DC too. And so people rotate in and out of town. But I'm a sixth generation Washingtonian with an R. So that's an old way of saying it. I don't know why. Maybe we're descended from pirates or something. Well, they promised it's going to start at 7 today, but I can see Goodell's got 10,000 people on the stage with him now. So we'll see. Maybe I didn't think about it this way. I post a poll every morning at 6 a.m. You try doing 365 polls a year. I've done it for 3 years now, so I'm over 1,000 polls. So sometimes I just write something dumb. Who do you think would win a fight between a lion and a tiger? I don't personally have an answer, but somebody's like, "Are we talking about the Detroit Lions versus the Detroit Tigers?" And I thought, "Yeah, sure, why not? Hit the vote button." How many talking heads that talk about the NFL do you have a high opinion of? Asked DJ. Um, I think probably half. Yeah, I know a lot of them for many years. I know what they're like. I know who's full of beans. I don't want to get into a pissing match about people because it doesn't do me any good So I don't badmouth people like this on social media because how many times do you ever see that work out? So they know who they are. I know who they are. They're not worried about me, and I'm not worried about them, quite frankly. That's the old news business. We used to fight each other all the time. Now everybody's like tiger survivors of the downsizing, and they get along much better. Maybe they're happier, and it's better for that. All right, so Buffalo is on the clock, 6.5 minutes till their pick. A lot of picks yesterday. You get 15 minutes. They were done halfway through, which thank you, because otherwise we'd be here till kingdom come. Clayton says Tiger's more agile and muscular. Yeah, I think in the end, I think the Tiger could win, but if that lion gets a hold of you, man, he's bigger. He's going to put you on the ground. So I just sometimes do crazy polls. Oh, all right. It was Bob talking about it. Okay. Mike Tyson didn't have a lion. That's right. He had Tiger. I once spent an afternoon with Mike Tyson for a story when he was in DC. And I really liked the guy. Mike Tyson's been through hell and back so many ways, some of his own doing, but not all of it. A lot of people trying to steal, money from him. And, I found a guy, I really liked the guy. Wished him well, I think he's a cool guy. He does a one-man show too. That's really good. Antoinette, who's the best player for Washington in this round? For the team, I would say McKistry would be probably, I think someone would help them up the most. But, we'll see about receivers too. It could be something. Ooh, like those shades. Just watching an NFL Network with you guys to see who's doing what. You need a 50-50 catcher. Who are they talking about? Rod Gardner? Do you guys notice Rod Gardner's on what's that show where they run around the world? The Great Chase or whatever it's called. Rod Gardner and his wife. I saw it the first night. I never watched the show. It was just on after Survivor, which I watched a little bit of. And I was like, hey, that's Rod Gardner. And he and his wife have a vitamin business now that they do. He look good. I hadn't seen Rod Gardner since he left here. And how many years ago was that? 20? Something like that. All right. They're on the phone in Buffalo, so they must be calling it in. Somebody taking a picture to make it official. There's a lot of ceremonial stuff that goes on in the NFL. Amazing Race. That's it. Amazing Race, Bob. I don't really watch it much. I probably should because I do like to travel. But I don't know. Can't watch everything on TV. I've been watching Franklin. That's really good if you haven't seen it yet. Franklin's really good. Manhunt, it was disappointing because of the errors in it. Booth did kill Lincoln, but that's about the only thing they got right. But one about Ben Franklin's a pretty good one. It's about halfway through right now. My wife and I, we try to watch TV together some. So we're watching Farmer Wants a Wife or whatever it is. All those guys are going to pick the wrong one. My wife and my daughter just watch The Bachelor all the time, and they'd always be yelling, "He picked the wrong one." And I didn't get involved in that. But now the girls are married themselves and gone. They both picked the right guy, thank God. And so now I have to watch it with the wife once in a while, so we share TV time. She says I always have some war thing on, which is not true. I have sports on too. Bob loves Abishola. Love that show. It's funny. I like shows that'll make you laugh, but there aren't many out there that will. Get tired of a million game shows and singing shows and all that stuff. Clayton took advantage of Allie badly. Yeah, they all did. But I got to just say hello to Allie once at the Super Bowl the night before the Redskins won in Minnesota at Super Bowl. And he came into the convention. They used to have one party before the Super Bowl in the convention centers every year that were just humongous, and everybody was there. Now everybody has their own parties. But back then, there's like a few thousand people in this place, and the room stops when Ali comes in. This is before he really was getting bad with Parkinson's. And man, the room stopped, and everybody wanted to meet Ali. And just being next to him for a minute was cool. I loved watching him fight grow up. So Ali was one of my favorites. But it's just like ball players today. Think about it. You're 22 years old. You're away from home. They're giving you these humongous checks every week. Would you be stupid with any of the money? I'm not sure I would have. So it's not unusual to see players, blow it. So yeah, it happens all the time. So there's always people there looking for money. There's a lot of people looking to get paid. I mean, I think it was Clinton Portis one time told me he paid the cell phone bill for 17 family members, every month. There's that kind of stuff that goes on. So Buffalo's picks in, so just gotta wait for that for a minute. So there's always, everybody's thinking, hey, so and so's rich now. We can all get some of it. All right, they're walking it out. It's not Goodell today because he only does the first round. And they let players come out and do that for a second. There's that band I was talking about. If you look on the right, I give them credit, man. They're just jamming for like 4 hours. Stop for a minute, take a breath, announce the pick, go back to playing. Got to be exhausted by the end of that. Yeah. All right, so here comes out. I don't know who this is. Somebody from Buffalo. All right. Oh, it's Aaron Williams. Okay. Who was a second round pick in 2011. All right. There you go. Sometimes I laugh when you see the fans react to whoever's being picked and they're all like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, you have no idea who this is. You're just I think they pay actors to do this. All right, here we go, Buffalo. Keon Coleman, the receiver. So there goes a receiver off the board. I don't know. I don't think that was anybody Washington was targeting, but certainly when you're looking at a 6'3" receiver, you got to find tall guys that you can hit in the back of the end zone. That's supposed to be their superpower. Antoinette, waiting for a Derby pick. Yeah, you have to wait till next Friday for that. I don't pick the Derby before Friday, day before, because I've seen too many horses come up lame during the week. And they always tell I covered 20 Kentucky Derbies. I used to be a horse racing writer a long time ago. And every year, they say, oh, it's nothing. We're standing in ice on Wednesday. Yeah, it's nothing. We do that all the time with them. Then after the race, the horse runs 12th, and the trainer says, yeah, that thing in midweek was much worse than we thought or let on. And so, you waste your money on that because they're lying to you. So I don't pick anything till Friday. And even Friday, I've seen things happen. And Saturday morning, I've seen things happen. Empire Maker was scratched the day of the race. Yeah, Bert, they just take their sweet time massaging this stuff. So it would be done by 7:30, but that ain't happening. Maybe Washington's 3 picks away, so maybe in about 15 minutes, something like that, will be the first one, and the next one will be about another 15 minutes later. So I have to put in some overtime. All right. So nobody's really talked about the pick yesterday. Are you guys happy enough with it, or I figured a lot of people, they wanted others, but I think they were all pretty close. McCarthy, May, and Daniels. It wasn't like one was Superman, the others were a couple of court jesters. I mean, I think it's just which guy do you think you can do the most with? And they decided he was the one. And everybody likes those scrambling type quarterback who has mobility. Everybody wants one. You just don't get one very much. Matt's got a trade alert. All right. Steve, let's wait. All right. Roll loves it. Okay. Oh, you love pick. Okay. I mean, I'll go okay with Jaden. I don't have any problems with this. And we'll see what happens on it. All right. Now they got the Chargers sitting there on the phone. See what Jim Harbaugh wants them to do for him. Coaches have a lot more sway in this than you say. It takes a ballsy one. All right. So Chargers have traded with the New England. So basically a mid-round pick swaps. Not a whole lot on there. But it takes a ballsy coach. A ballsy GM to ignore a coach who says, I really want this guy. And you go, man, when it doesn't work out, they know who to point at each other real quick. Matt, I agree with you that Daniels gets fans in the seat. That's definitely something that was it shouldn't be a factor to the GM, but we don't live life in a vacuum. So, Harbaugh for president, I guess. Harbaugh and Herbert, 24. I guess that they want to be president and VP. Okay. Whatever. Clayton, it's a coin flip. Jaden has character, class, and swag. Well, not that the other guys don't. Hillbilly Reefer. Okay, that's interesting. The only concern I have with Jaden is, as a Seminoles fan, I saw what our elite defense did to him. Pretty much shut him down. Yeah, it's funny. They asked Jaden, when did you know you were that kind of playmaker? And he's like, Florida game. And I didn't see the Florida games. Everybody was laughing about it, but and not the media, but they put people in the room to support the player, because the media will not cheer. The media does not clap. We're independent people. So they put in people who will do that and kind of fill the room that way. And Antoinette, I agree with you about Atlanta. Okay, so the Charger selection's up. All right. Making it a host of Wheel of Fortune? I don't watch Wheel of Fortune, but okay. All right, so we have a trade. So Patriots traded to the Chargers. Now it's the Chargers pick. Here we go. Lad McConkey, the Georgia receiver, goes to the Chargers. Not surprised, because that's a passing offense in there. They needed a receiver too. So there you go. Guy's just a touch under 6 feet. McConkey, I think, would have been one of the guys that Washington would have considered. All right, so we have one more pick, and then Washington gets its pick. Arizona is now on the clock. After Washington, it becomes New England. Now will be after Washington, then Tennessee, Carolina, and then Washington again. And then it's a while before they have their next one. You can go have dinner, cut the grass, watch a couple movies, and then come back for the third round. That's how I feel sometimes on this. I have to keep it on just in case something crazy happens. But, it can be long. I remember when we used to do it all in one day, and I used to bring a book, because sometimes there'd be like a 3-hour gap between picks. What are you going to do? You couldn't leave in case they traded. You were stuck there like that. Sometimes we'd ask, the GM, hey, dude, you going to do anything, or can we go eat? And they'd usually give you a heads up about it. They wouldn't tell you what they're doing, but they would just say, yeah, go eat. Be back in a while. Okay, so Matt says, yep, there goes Lad. Well, you can't get them all, man. I like Harbaugh too. I mean, he's kind of crazy. And does he rub the edges? I'm sure most of his big colleges guys do. Harbaugh had great success with the 49ers, but just couldn't get along with ownership. But usually, if you win like he did, you can do what you want. It's when you lose that you get tossed out for being a jerk. So, all right. You guys are quiet. Not as many people tonight either. All right. Anybody else here from Europe watching? Just as long as I always like to see where people are. It's amazing. Let's see. Okay, so we're doing next. I think Marvin Harrison was a great pick, man. He's going to, Arizona got lucky there. The first 3 teams are taking quarterbacks. So, Fayetteville, North Carolina, or as my dad was from Carolina, he used to say, Nope, Carolina. Boy. Who are we taking? I'll say McKistry at this point. If I'm wrong, well, then I'll do the right thing and keep going. I'm not doing, what else can I do? Okay. It's not like we're betting on, well, I guess people are betting on this stuff, aren't they? But I'd never do that. Okay. So I'm sorry. Yeah, they got the 35th pick. So Atlanta's on the clock. I'm sorry. We got, all right, so the trade. So Arizona trades with Atlanta. And everybody spent the night figuring out how they wanted to get somebody all the time. So this pick, well, Arizona's getting a 3rd round and giving up a 6th round basically for moving 8 spots. Okay. That's not bad. So we're going back again they're getting ready to announce this one, and then Washington is on the clock. There's some thought that it's Latu, according to Ian here, but we'll see in just a moment. All right. Yeah, I bet Kirk wasn't happy about Atlanta's pick yesterday. If they take another quarterback here, we know something's really up. All right. 6:40 left on the clock. We'll see. The way they pan the cameras, somebody's coming out. All right. Oh, thanks, Clayton. I appreciate you coming. Well, Wellboat's from Seattle. There you go. Man, I think it'd be awesome to live on the West Coast. You'd have games start at 10 a.m., your time sometimes. And maybe it's early. Maybe it interferes with some things like church, but I still think how awesome. Right now, the NFL draft, it's 4:30, and on the West Coast. Can't beat that. Maybe you got to work and all that stuff, but I still think it's better than trying to stay awake at midnight. I'm getting old. I can't stay up past 10, 11. But there's nothing good on TV anymore anyway. So but I'd love to be on the West Coast and 10 a.m. game. Ooh. Sort of like we see when the London games were at like 9:30 or whatever. That was awesome. Have a game already done by noon. I covered the game when the Redskins went to Osaka. I covered that. Whew, man, there's like a 16-hour time difference. All I know is I spent 2 days working over there for the same newspaper here. I filed as soon as the game was over. It was like 10:30 at night back in Washington. I don't know, it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something there. And we had to file it really fast. And then I literally was on a team playing back to DC, which took us 16 hours each way. And in the media, there's only a handful of us in the media. Bram Weinstein's still around. He was on that trip. Mark Maskey was on that trip from the Post. He's still there, and me. And, so here we go, another pick. So there's still a few of us from the Osaka days. Here we go. Falcons picking. In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Aurora. Okay, so they take Clemson defensive tackle Rook. You know who it is. Rojo. So, I don't know. You laugh. The guy trying to say it was struggling. I'm no better. But anyway, I don't see defensive tackle. That wouldn't have been a player Washington would have taken. Okay, so they're clear now. Washington can go for a cornerback that they want. They still have a lot of good receivers here. I think it's going to be one of the two at this point. And Washington's on the clock. So let's see. Let me go over to ESPN. ESPN. Love these new things. You just saw what channel you want. I don't know numbers anymore. Oh, okay. Well, there's a Milwaukee's Buck game going on there. So ESPN's not even at. Are they like on the 2 or? Oh, there it is. It's on ESPN 2. Okay. All right. So they're still live. 3 minutes to go on the pick for Washington. So we'll see what happens there. And they're showing Atlanta's congratulating themselves for getting a great player. And this is where you got to be happy now. High second round pick like this is just off of, the first round. Ooh, are ESPN are they going to commercial? They got a Courtyard by Marriott thing up. They are going to commercial. There you go. ESPN goes to commercial during Washington's pick. Knew it. They had the guts to do it yesterday, but we're back in town, baby. Unbelievable. Let me put this up there. If you like to read, most of you are probably following me on Twitter, but it's Rick Snider's Washington, also on Twitter, or Snide_remarks, SNIDE. They asked me to do Twitter, I don't know, a dozen years ago, and I was like, why? So I did put up a snarky name. Who knew I'd keep it? So, all right. Wow. Well, the pick is in, and ESPN's doing something else. Let me go back to NFL Network. NFL Network. See what they got. Maybe they're not going to commercial. Guess what? The NFL Network is on commercial too. I thought this would be over with Dan Snyder gone. All right. Man, this gets annoying. Yeah, we'll go to commercial. It'll be all right. They'll come back in time in my butt. All right. Let's go back to the, see what the next one is. ESPN. Let's see if I can play back and forth and see who's ESPN 2. Forgot about that. All right. And still commercial over there too. Both networks are on commercial. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Really? Lots of coincidences in life. I don't think this is one of them. Now we can maybe leak it. I hate when pictures are leaked. I like to see them announced. We waited this long, wait 10 more seconds. Why won't they like us, Joel? Is it because we have taxes here in the IRS or something? It's because our government sometimes torments them. Remember, these aren't our guys. These are your guys you send here. Suzanne was going to place a Vegas bet if there was an option. Could have made it on the commercial thing. Yeah. All right. Now they're back. ESPN is back doing a blimp shot. And, okay, now it's Jaden Daniels they're showing. Sitting there wondering for a second, what? I haven't heard what Jaden's number is yet. They didn't say today. Well, there's Commanders fans yucking it up. There we go. The pick is in. All right, walk one out. Let's see. I think this is supposed to be Darryl Green, but let's see if it is. Legends making the pick, and I believe we're about to have a very special moment. Actually, somebody else behind them has made the pick, and now they're on. Yeah. And there's D Green. D Green and I are the same age. We hang out. Well, we don't hang out, but we have each other's cell phone numbers. We call each other once in a while when we help out. D Green's the best. I always enjoyed it. I covered him every day for about 10 of his years. Oh, look at Daryl doing a selfie picture. Okay, Daryl. Daryl, what are you doing? Look at this. Daryl's doing a selfie. Trying to get the whole thing behind him. Oh, you're a bad man. All right. Not wearing a tie either. Come on, Daryl. Oh, they just. Oh, okay. I got closed caption up. They misspelled Daryl's name. The last name, not the first name. We are proud to announce the Washington Commanders plan to retire Darryl Green's jersey this fall. There you go. The crowd gave him a big cheer about his number being retired. To his enduring legacy. Today, we celebrate Darryl Green's extraordinary career. It was a great career. Darryl was so fast. It was unbelievable. Darryl just shut his phone off again. I texted Darryl congratulations on his number, and he didn't get back to me, but I knew he wouldn't. He's probably got like 3,000 text messages. So there he is, D Green, 28. I think next, if we're talking about retired players, I don't think we should retire a lot of numbers, but you got to go 44 with Rigo. And then, I don't know, somebody was making a point yesterday about Charlie Taylor versus Art Monk. And both of them retired as the NFL's leading receiver. And I think I'd go Charlie Taylor over Art Monk, to be honest. There you go. Now making Darryl put on his jersey, took off his coat. All right. Getting real quality minutes here. All right. So here comes Darryl getting ready to announce it. Darryl does so much charity work. You guys have no idea how much. I think Darryl gets the biggest check, too, of pension plan because he played 20 years. And Darryl played against Detroit in that last NFC Championship game in '91. For a minute, I thought he was going to say something about that. No, don't say anything. Keep going. All right, here we go. Here's the pick. Detroit, can I just say something to the DMV? Daryl's filibustering here. That's Darryl. We used to talk to him at his locker. Darryl, you got a minute? I got 10 minutes. He's like Theismann. They would talk forever on these things. There's Tailgate Ted I see on the screen. All right. Tailgate Ted's a great guy. Oh, and the commander, rally captain, I think his name is. Yeah. If you ever go to Tailgate Ted's tailgate and everybody's welcome, it's worth going, man. They just raise money. They fundraise money for charities in the parking lot. He does a great job. Here we go. The Washington Commanders select Jazon Newton. They took Jazon Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois. Wow, I am surprised. They went D tackle there. Woo! I mean, I know the guy was rated, high there. Oh, man, guy's got some serious hair. I hate guys with big hair. I'm jealous. All right, I did not see this one. He was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. But you got Allen, you got Payne. Certainly, you could use another guy. Fedarian Mathis, I don't know. Nobody says his name anymore. What goes on there? Second round pick of a few years ago. He's been hurt mostly. This guy's got some speed to him. Okay. I just thought they were going to go another place, but that's the great part about this draft. You can talk about it for months and then go, ooh, I didn't see that coming. All right. Any of you see that coming? I didn't see that. Bob thinks it's a bad choice. Kool-Aid was there. I agree. You got to drink the Kool-Aid when you get a chance. But okay. But Adam Peters, to me, I said a lot of people could have picked Daniels. All right. The number 2 overall pick. A lot of people did. What's he doing in the second and third round tonight? To me, that shows me his GM skills. If he can pull off some pieces here, good draft. I mean, the draft will be ultimately judged historically by Daniels and how he does. But in reality, it's going to be judged by these picks tonight. That do they make this team better? Is Allen going to be traded, Clayton? I don't think so. I think there was some talk about it earlier, but I don't think so. Yeah, John, I don't understand this pick either. I'm really surprised. Maybe they are going to move Allen, but if you're going to do it, I thought they'd do it by draft day here. And then get the pick now. If you trade him after the draft, got to wait a year for the pick. Which is sweet for the team getting Allen. All right, so did New England's on the clock because they were waiting for Darryl to finish. So New England's on the board here, and they're getting ready to announce their pick. This is number 37. Washington comes back at number 40. So it won't be that long, 10 minutes, more or less, from now, which is about what we thought, 7:45, 7:50. Okay, so everybody has to say something. There's a guy with a May jersey, homemade May jersey, but for New England, showing it. So Patriots just took a wide receiver, Jalen Polk from Washington. Can't say I really watched that. I don't watch enough college football to have a great opinion. It's too much out there. I got too little time, especially West Coast teams. I don't get to see much. But okay, man, 1,200 yards last season. Looks big, tall receiver running downfield well. But you don't get that breath of fresh air between you and corners in the NFL. They're on your butt, so you don't get to walk. Watching this film here that they're showing, he's wide open. Of course, he's going to do well. And some of that's route running, but in speed. But it's just physical mismatches in college. It's much more. Good hands on that catch. All right. So they got a little bit of room in the back of the parking lot. So New England's got Drake May and Jalen Polk. They got a quarterback and receiver. Can't beat that. I thought maybe that's what we do, but we'll see. They got another pick coming in, a couple picks. Maybe they can take a receiver. There's the war room there too. It's always amazing how many guys are in the war room with their computers up, looking at stuff, and a lot of them are scouts. I mean, but they've done all their work. They're just there, sort of like the end of it. Scouts are under contract until next week, May 1st. Is that next week? And that's when they let everybody go because you've done your job. You can start a whole new cycle. So coaches get whacked in January, but scouts, does that mean that anybody like the Martys or whatever are going to disappear after this week? Maybe. And we'll see what they do. Peter seems like a pretty straight up guy. So I don't think he'd do anything dirty, but the business is the business. So, I mean, he knew Martin from the past, and maybe they get along well. Bert thought they would go for Newton or Fisk. Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going other places. Clayton Dotson will get more targets with Curtis Samuel gone. I would expect so. Now we'll see if they take another guy in a second here, but Dotson's got to step up this year and get more. Now it's you can only catch what they throw you. I actually saw him drop a handful last year, which is unusual for him. He has really good hands. But this third year, as a first round pick, you need this guy to do it. And like I said, it's not his fault. The game plan doesn't give him the ball enough. But then again, if you make plays, the ball finds you. So, all right. And while we're waiting for any of you, most people watch this show for about 15 minutes and then go on to other things. So the news cycle coming in. Thanks for coming. Do appreciate it. You can always see my videos 6 a.m. every day, and then usually around dinner time in the evening. Most of the time it's Commanders, but occasionally it's something else. And I appreciate everybody coming. We've done really well. Last year I did more than 5 million views, and there are bigger people than me, but hey, I do the best I can. When this, I'm kind of like finishing up my 40. How many years has it been now? 46 years. So got a little longer left to play in the game. I'm going to try and do this season. I've been saying it's maybe my last season for several years. Oh, Glenn Harris just texted me. Glenn turned 77. For all of you remember Glenn's sports talk on News Channel 8 for many years. Glenn's a DC guy. Was Howard University. He's in retirement now, and I see him now and then. Great guy. Glenn Harris would help so many people, young people especially, get opportunities. Unappreciated guy, in my opinion. So here we go. And we're on commercial again. Okay, that's right. The Titans pick is in, which means Washington will be on. Well, Carolina's next, and then Washington. So we're getting closer. Probably going to be closer to 8 o'clock, I guess. That's still not bad. Yeah, Roy, I kind of wondered the same thing, man. I have to admit, I'm surprised. I'm sure they'll say he was the best. I mean, Payne's got a pretty new contract. They're not going to let him go. Allen, we'll see. You better get something good for Allen because he's been a decent player as a first round pick. So, but I am surprised on that one. Well, that's why we play the games, Cisco, I don't know what's going on. I'm surprised too. Maybe we'd be a DE. I don't know. He looked more like a tackle just sitting there looking at him. But we'll see. All right. So they're back from commercial, which means they should have a pick ready. So best available, there's Cooper, there's Edgerrin, Cooper DeJean, and Edgerrin Cooper, Kool-Aid, Donnie Mitchell. See, there's two guys I thought Washington would look at, Kool-Aid and Mitchell. Both still there. They should get a chance at one of them. They take another weird pick. We're all going to be kind of like, what? All right. Man, you just never know what's going to happen. Well, that's the fun of it. If you knew, you wouldn't have to watch. All right. Here comes the crowd again. And they're walking out. So, Titans are getting ready to announce their pick. Who is this on stage? Don't always know the old ball players when they come back. It's like, who is that? I haven't seen him in years. He got old. That's what they say about me when they see me. Oh, Warren Moon. Wow, that's Warren Moon? Okay. See, that's what I said. Warren Moon was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 06. So it's been a long time since we've seen him play. He was a good player. All right, so he's going to announce Tennessee on here. Come on, guys, I'm getting ready. I'm getting out of words for the day. 38th pick in the draft. Ooh, everybody's screaming. T'Vondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas. Okay, I guess we're going for D lineman right now. Man, that guy's got a serious Titans blue face. Wow. Okay, didn't see that one either, but I guess we're going for the lines now because they didn't get much done in the first round. Didn't really do much for D linemen, so I guess everybody's grabbing one now. Value time. That guy was a unanimous Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Ooh, you're an unanimous Big 12 Player of the Year. That's serious. He looks like a pretty solid guy. Oh, there's been a trade alert now because Carolina's on the and Carolina's just traded their pick. You see where the Carolina owner went inside a business that ragged on him on their sign about let the GM and coach do the picks, and he went inside to talk to them. Seriously, dude, you need help. You know, he's the worst owner in the league now. Cisco, second round beef. Well, I get it. Okay, so could they trade Allen for a left tackle? Sure. I mean, that might be a fair trade, depending on the team. But not many teams want to trade their left tackles very much. I mean, short of Schrader was traded for Lachey, but that was what year was that? 90 or 80. Lachey was 88, I think it was. So good guy. So look how long ago that was. That was a great trade. Lachey was traded from San Diego to Oakland for like a week in August, and then they traded him to Washington for a starting quarterback. That was pretty amazing. That was amazing. You don't see that much. If you can hit the thumbs up button, please do. It just helps the analytics people. All love that. Whatever. Algorithm people too. And we're almost to Washington, but now we got to trade, so it's going to take a minute to get Carolina. Did it say who the Carolina traded to the Rams. The Rams traded their second rounder. Oh, I mean, Carolina traded a second rounder, and the Panthers are getting a fifth and next year's second rounder for it. On top of it, wow! So they gave up 2 2s and a 5 to move up. They must really want whoever it is. Watch, this will be McKistry or something like that. Yeah, there's definitely less people there in Detroit. You can see that from the overhead. But still, great crowd. Washington, I say have it on Freedom Plaza. Somebody said, oh, they can only handle a crowd of 300,000. Get 300,000 and we'll talk. Isaac Bruce up to talk. He was a great receiver. Remember covering that team. All right. In St. Louis, the greatest show on turf. All right, so they're getting ready. Carolina's traded the 39th pick to the Rams. St. Louis is doing strong in that this spring season football. I could see St. Louis getting the franchise team, maybe. Braden Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida State, another defensive lineman off the board. I guess that's what, sometimes they all go in streaks like quarterbacks. So now Washington is on the clock. So we're, 5-6 minutes away, which puts it a few minutes for 8. Yeah, Mike, you're right. The Washington had a lot of great left tackles. I mean, you went from Jacoby to Lachey to Samuels to Trent. I mean, there's 20 plus years of good left tackles. Antoinette, don't be talking about trading picks. I want to see this guy so we can move on. All right, Commanders on the clock. 3:10 left for the pick to come in. Trade alert. Son of a. Okay, Washington's traded the pick to Philadelphia. Wow, trading in the division. Trades with Philadelphia haven't gone very well in recent years. I mean, we did get Sonny from them. So Washington snookered him on Sonny Jurgensen for Norm Snead, but that was 1964. I'm looking at McNabb and things like that. I'll be all right. I'm not sure if Adam Peters is impressing me here or not. Let's see what he got. We got a lot of picks in this draft here. Washington's got a lot of picks. Yeah, the Eagles last year started 10-1, finished 1-6. Let's see. Wonder what they're going to take. All right. Oh, and he went to break. Somebody didn't tell ESPN and NFL Network to Washington traded the pick, right? So they went to break thinking that. Okay. Everybody's suddenly wondering, is this Peter's guy or okay? Yeah, Justin, I would agree. If you're getting a divisional team trade with, that's usually a no-no. They better have really thrown some stuff on the board. Um, it's so dangerous because now if you make a mistake here, you have to face that twice a year. Yeah, it's not something you want to do because we'll talk about it twice a year about how they blew it if that's what happens. Oh, okay. And I don't know. I have to see where the Eagles are picking here. I'm getting tired. It's time to sun's starting to set. I may call it. We'll see how long before the Eagles pick. I may call it a night and move on to my other things. Uh, uh, yeah, I can't. We've already gone an hour 20 on this show. This is why I'm not doing the third rounders too. My God, I'd be talking for 2 more hours. That'd be way over my word count. I wouldn't have any words for 3 days afterwards. Also, I'm going to have a live show on Monday night, and then I'm going to take a break. I have some things to do and such. So I'm not sure. I'll be back in a few weeks. I'll let you know. Westridge, haven't seen it yet. What the trade is yet? Yeah, Matt. All the adrenaline's running out of us. We're still waiting to see because they went to commercial. So let me see. ESPN too. See if ESPN's up. They tend to go in commercials about the same time together. Yeah, there you go. Same commercial even on both. They're all talking about get your COVID shot and stuff. Oh, please, really? Again? I just heard today about COVID outbreaks expected to hit again soon. And I'm like, well, we're all going outside to play. How's this thing spreading again? Oh, don't get me started on all this. Yeah, Mike, I keep busy. Clayton, thank you so much. Ooh, a slice of pizza. All right, maybe a soda. Yeah. Yeah, well, probably both. Be a small soda. Anyway, I am going to do just so we're killing time. I am going to do a commanders and tour guide combination in June. Going to announce the date soon. Be a Saturday, I'm sure. Just got to nail one more thing down. Uh, and we'll do Old Town Alexandria as a tour, and then we'll do um, pizza afterwards and talk all the commanders you want. So there'll be tickets on sale for that. Okay, so everybody in green's jumping up and down on this because they didn't show it because they were at commercial. But the pick is in. Anytime today would be nice, boys. So they haven't shown us yet what the trade went for. All right. Band's still playing. Nobody's come out yet. NFL Network. Let's see. Is NFL Network back from commercial yet? Yeah. Okay, everybody dancing. Okay. All right. All right. So Philadelphia's coming out to announce the pick at number 40, and Washington now is way back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that pick 50 maybe? All right. Okay. So Eagles fans, here's what you're getting because these second round players, these guys take forever. It's their moment in the sun. Oh, and you just said Dallas sucks all day, so that's kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, Eagles fans hate them too. I kind of wonder, do Commanders fans hate the Eagles fans more than Cowboys fans? I don't know. Suzanne, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Yeah, trade back to 50 and 53, says Kevin. Because they haven't shown it on the board, but I don't know. I just haven't been that impressed so far tonight, but we'll see. Um, and they took Cooper, DeJean. There you go. Took a corner. That should have been the corner Washington took. Ooh, you're going to be fighting about this one. Washington let them take a good corner when they could have taken them themselves. Okay, here we go. Time to start. Well, arguing about everything. Now we got something to argue about. You just let the Eagles get better on you and took some, for some picks down the road. Maybe, listen, a year or two from now, this may have been a brilliant idea, or it could have sucked big time. Man, I just don't believe in trading with divisional partners. I don't like this one at all. And Suzanne's right. Howie Roseman's a smart GM. I mean, he's done a great job in Philly. Um, okay. Wow. Clayton, I'd like to do a tour, but that doesn't get around so often. Yeah, I get that. Clayton, go ahead and send me on Twitter at Rick Snider's Washington, my Snider _ remarks. Send me a note there, and we can talk about something maybe we can do with your dad. Sometimes I do lunch. I just meet fans for lunch who can't move around very well and do a tour, but we meet in the historic area and we have pizza and we talk for lunch. And I talk about what's around and we talk Commanders and that kind of thing. We can do something like that. I do that once in a while for fans too. I got free time, because I'm semi-retired now, so I don't work as much. And so I have, when I was a beat guy or something, I would never have time for things like this. But now, I do it when I can. Don't mind doing it. So we'll talk about it. So send me contact info on that, or you can send me an email to monumentalthoughts@gmail.com if you heard that, and we will. Someone else trying to reach me. And we'll see what we can do. The Packers are getting Kool-Aid. Son of a gun. All right, Saints are up on the clock now picking. All right. Who are the Saints going for? So, covering a game in New Orleans is always a lot of fun because the stadium is downtown. So, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute walk to Bourbon Street. Yeah, and the Saints just got Kool-Aid McKinstry. All right. Saints got better with that guy. What is he, 5? He's just under 6 foot. Okay. McKinstry has a couple down pieces to him, but overall, good player. It's kind of funny how if you read scouting reports, they go, "Oh, this guy sucks. He can't do this and this and this," but he looks like a first round pick. I mean, well, if he sucks, how is he a first round pick? Woo! Oh yeah, Craig, I heard about it. They're supposed to be good in the next 5 years. If that's true, you took May instead of Daniels. Cisco, you're a bad boy. Matt, thank you so much for chipping in. Do appreciate it. Okay. Um, all right. So I like the name Kool-Aid too, Joel. I'm sure that's not his given name on his birth certificate. Uh, and it isn't, well, yeah, I guess Kool-Aid spelled with a K, right? All right. So, wow, the last few minutes haven't gone the way I expected, but okay. Matt says the GMs try to outsmart themselves. Absolutely, that and the coaches. I often say a lot of games are lost because people outsmarted themselves more than the other team won the game. Yeah, Bob, I'm not exactly real big on that either. All right, Bob's got to head out. I don't blame you. We've been talking about it. I want to head out, but I'll try and hang in here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more picks before Washington. And then Washington has 2 in between, and then they pick again. Oh my God, it's gonna be 9 o'clock. I don't know if I can do this or not. Grievous, travel from Lewes, Delaware. I got a cousin who lives in Lewes. I know where that is. To visit your mom about every 10 days. She's almost 90. Wow, yeah, my mom's close to that too. And my mom lives in Culpeper, which is about 2:15 from where I live. So it's a day trip whenever I go see her. And I was like, you know where else I can be in 2:15? Philadelphia. If my mom was in Philadelphia, people go, oh, that's too far. but because she's in Culpeper, people don't say that. But it's a long ways out in Culpeper. She moved there years ago. We used to live in PG County. So, all right, Texans are on the clock picking here. They're taking Kamari Lassiter, Georgia corner. Nice player. So, yeah, like you said, he's a day one nickel player. He's a good, tough one. So, all right, they got better. I mean, today's draft. Well, this draft overall for Washington, I think that you should. Now they got 6 picks. I mean, you want to try to get 3 starters out of this. I mean, these guys aren't the greatest, but let's just remember it's a 4-13 team. It's going to flip 60% of its roster. So why wouldn't some of these guys be your starters and get them ready for that 5-year plan? I mean, we're on another 5-year plan. Okay, comrades, I'd like to just see somebody win. I don't think I'm covering 5 more years, but I don't know. I always had a goal of being 50 years in the business. And Shirley Povich did 50 years. Actually, he did 75. I'm sorry. He did 50 as a full timer and then did 25 as a part timer and wrote a column like a week or so before he died. And Shirley Povich was an immortal, worked at the Post. I got to know him just a little at the end of his life. He liked to cover horse racing. He liked to bet on horse racing, I should say that, as sort of retired. And he liked to sit where I sat in the racetrack because it was near the TV. And I'd be, Shirley, you're sitting in my seat. With all due respect, Godfather, this is where I work. But he was an extraordinary journalist. So I'd kind of like to get to 50. I'd like to be in the Washington Sports Hall of Fame, though I doubt I get in because I didn't work at the Post very much, just a few years as their subway paper, the Express. I was a columnist there for 6 years. And then they told us, you have 8 hours till the last edition. See you later. Got laid off at 8 hours notice. Actually, I found out on Twitter. So classy. So we'll see if I stick around. How many more years I stick around? We'll see. If I feel okay, I'll keep going. Mostly feel okay, but I can feel the age starting to go a little bit. You don't see a lot of old writers. Okay, Clayton, there's more to Forbes than we know. St. Juice is going to be used differently too. I'd hope so. More zone to man. That would help both Forbes and St. Juice playing more zone. Sometimes you pick a player and you don't pick them for the right scheme that you're doing. And then you wonder why the player isn't doing well. Because you got a square peg in a round hole kind of situation, and that's on you, not the player. So it happens so much more than you'd think. Coaches always go, well, that's okay. I can change them. Nah, not really. On all this. All right. Wow, we were just killing time now, aren't we? We got quite a few picks to go. Arizona's pick is in. Next up is Vegas, Green Bay, Indianapolis, the Giants, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, and then Washington. Man, we ought to vote. We ought to have a poll. Do I keep going, or do we all just go watch our TVs and leave each other alone? What's going to happen to poor Taylor Heineke? I think he could still be the third quarterback if they carry 3. Yeah, Taylor's. How many years does Taylor have in now? As a regular player, 3, I think. Quarterbacks need 4 to be vested in the pension plan. So that's what you're really hoping for. Getting that pension plan that pays well. So let's hope that Taylor makes it. He'll make it somewhere because he's got skills like Gus Frerotte did that, can come in quickly, learn something, and produce to a certain level as a spot guy. He's not your main guy, but he could be your spot guy and do okay. And with injuries in the league like they are, there's always a need for somebody like Taylor on there. I mean, how many of these old guys did you say still in the league? Yeah, that's because they run through court. Every team needs 2 quarterbacks. All right, so it's very. I mean, Sam Howell was one of the exceptions who played virtually every snap, and I think there were 9 starters last year. Quarterback who started all 17 games. So if that's true, then there's 23 that didn't. So you needed a backup on 23 teams. Bird thinks Newton's a stud. Okay. Yeah, Taylor had heart, Clayton. I mean, I like Taylor. He was a good guy. He was a lot of fun. I've seen a few quarterbacks like him over the years. They didn't get to play a lot, but they were fun guys to follow. I'm trying to think I've seen a few. The guy who was with Hawaii who passed away. You know his name. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Who am I thinking of? Only played a preseason, did well, and got hurt, and then was in a bad car accident, and then had a substance problem too much, and passed away. Cole Brennan. There you go. I knew it was Cole. Couldn't remember. Yeah, that was sad. I've seen too many players. Read today in the paper where it wasn't in Washington, but there was a former player at 28. They found dead yesterday, and it's like, wow. It's always sad young people die like that. Ooh, look at this. Here comes a bad man. Yeah, here comes Leonard. Man, walking down the field. Phew. Leonard Davis. That guy is huge still. He was second pick by the Cardinals in 01. Wow. 20 years. So he's probably about 45. All right. So Arizona's now getting ready to announce theirs. Taking forever. Well, there's some Cardinals fans there. Well, Detroit, Arizona. I'm surprised anybody showed up. Okay. It's not a springtime destination in Detroit. Detroit's got some cool stuff, though, in it. I'll say that. I've been there to cover games. Henry Ford Museum was tough. We stayed at the in Dearborn where the Henry Ford plant is. Henry Ford, a great American. You work 5 days a week because of Henry Ford. Americans work 6 days a week, and Henry Ford said, in my factories, you're going to work 5 days a week, and I'm going to pay you the same. So you get an extra day off. And then all the competitors had to do that too. And Henry Ford said, I'm going to double your salary to $5 a day. And so it was a competition. So the working man got a big breaks. And then Henry Ford's cars I do this in my tours. Henry Ford's cars would be worth about $10,000 today because he wanted average Americans to have access to cars. So, and Henry Ford painted all his cars black because it was the fastest drying paint. There you go. Here's Henry Ford in a minute while I'm talking about things. See, you learn something while we're killing time. Clayton, I had a funny feeling we might draft Joe Milton. We usually take two quarterbacks in the draft. You're right about that. When they took Heath, they took Gus. When they took RG3, they took Kirk. So, not unprecedented. Raiders pick is in. All right. The Raiders. Yeah, Jim Plunkett they're showing. They're showing Jim Plunkett. What year was that? 70 something? Well, there you go. Jim Plunkett now. All right. Jim Plunkett is doing the pick. God bless him. He's got to be in his 80s. All right. And rather than screw around, he goes right to the pick. Thank you. Old school. Enough of this other stuff. Center Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. Ooh, they just went to this guy. This guy's huge. Okay. You're a Raider, buddy. Working in Vegas would be cool. I mean, half the season now it's going to be blazing hot in the early part, but the second half of the season would be really cool. I'm sure. I know people live in Vegas, and they tell me, you're not spending all your time on the Strip. Just like in Washington, we're not all hanging out at the Smithsonian's and the monuments. I get paid to do that, but otherwise, no. On that. All right. So, but I was hoping to go to Vegas on vacation soon, but we'll see. This has got to be boring, you guys. Sorry. It's only so much you can do when they knock your pick back an hour. I know my old friends who are beat writers out at the park are just banging their heads, but they got to be there for the third round or two. So you're going to be there all night. That's when you go ahead and eat a second dinner, something like that. They were serving the press Chick-fil-A today at 5:30. Well, everybody's hungry by now again. The grievance cap list. I only see it crossing the Indian River Bridge. Oh, there you go. Okay. Pick is in. All right. Cutting grass today. A lot of stuff in the air. Green Bay's picks in at 45. Okay, so Washington's now 5 picks away. All right, get ready for the Packers. Yeah, I'm sure Detroit's going to boo the Packers. All right, here comes the guy of the Packers wearing that green jacket. Nobody wears a tie anymore. Last Easter, I always went to church with a coat and suit and tie on Easter. Even a preacher wasn't wearing a tie. I was like, "What is going on?" My wife says, "It's okay. You look good." Well, come on, I gotta wear a tie if the preacher's not. She said, "Because she told me to. That's why. I've been married 43 years. You do what you're told." All right, Packers are sitting there mouthing on, talking about it. Here we go. And cheeseheads. I have a cheesehead. I bought one once when I was covering a game there. Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker. Oh, would have been nice to have gotten him too. I don't like this trade back. I mean, ask me again in 2 years, but right now, don't like this trade back. Edgerrin Cooper's a nice player. Good speed. All right, so Carolina is on the clock. Then the Giants, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, and then your Washington Commanders. And then it's Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and then your Washington Commanders. Wow. I might need a fifth booster, like in a 5-hour energy thing or something. I don't drink those things. Can't drink. Yeah, I had a heart attack covering this team, literally. Had a heart attack 2002. So it's been 21 and a half years. Working 80-hour weeks, didn't even have the internet so much back then. A little bit, not much. And I just wore myself out and had a heart attack. And the trainers were over top of me and saved my life. So I always owe that to them. And had to have open heart and all that jazz. And I feel good. I haven't had a problem since. Been very lucky. I had a heart attack that kills 19 of 20 men. So, we sit there and wonder how come I stayed. But I guess it's to do this show. I don't know. Maybe God wants me to be nice to people. All right. Clayton says pollen's on the hunt. I know. I never had problems with pollen until I was 50. And then I started getting old and creaky. I don't know. Then pollen started bothering me. So I take Allertech. Big thing, they have a lot of fancy, allergy pills you can buy over the counter. Allertech is like 10% of the cost and does the same thing. I get it at Costco. You can get a year for like $10 or something. It's crazy how cheap it is versus the name brands. Joe Gibbs had a heart attack leaving the airport, didn't he? I know something like that. I don't know if it was a full blown heart attack or not. Clayton, was when he was in Jacksonville. He was there to go see Mark Brunell, and he told Brunell, "Hey, I'm not feeling right. You got to get me to a hospital." So Brunell took him to the hospital. Now Joe is, I think, 81, something like that. Joe asks, is this defense there going to play a 3-4-4-3? Have not heard yet. I think we'll know a little more about that, say May 10th when they do the rookie day, and then the next week's the OTAs. By then, we should know what's going on. Grievance. It doesn't bother me, but it sure is pretty. A yellow dust on everything in Delaware. Yeah. I got almost 3.5 acres. I moved a little over a year ago. So it's my second summer cutting grass. And I love it. I don't mind. I mean, it took me 2.5 hours to cut grass today, but been working on my garden, stuff like that. That's why I'm slowing down working. I've had a job good 50 years. I don't have to work all the time. And if this is work just talking to you, well, there are harder jobs than this. I'm not breaking rocks for a living. All right, so Carolina's on the clock. If you guys hate this next pick coming up, man, then we really have been hosed out tonight. We'll see. I think they might be getting a bunch of guys. Well, it's okay. They've had a bunch of guys. I want a bunch of good guys, but you got to let them play the ball. Let's see. Well, they got a zero team got a zero player on Houston. Let's see on the clip. I didn't know that. Zero is kind of a weird number, but okay. They're weird people. I don't play it. Nothing wrong with that. I used to like to wear 20 when I played baseball because that was Don Sutton's number. So I wasn't a pitcher, but I like Don Sutton a lot. I was 11 when the Senators left for Texas. So then I became an Orioles fan for a lot of years, and that's when they were really good. With Brooks and Boog and all those guys. So I wore 20 for a lot of whenever I could. Sometimes I got it because usually 20 when I was playing in school ball, the bigger the number, the bigger the jersey, and I was one of the bigger guys. So, yeah. Linebackers have quite the resume. Okay, Clayton. Well, yeah, Clayton. The figure 3-4-4-3. Quite frankly, they were a nickel a lot last year. So it's you can say you're a 3-4 or 4-3, and I think they'll be a 4-3, but you shifted so much that it's irrelevant. Yeah, Joe went to interview Mark Brunell. You're right, Suzanne. That's what happened down in Jacksonville, and took Gibbs to the hospital there. And if since all right, we're in commercial, so I can talk about this. If you are having any kind of chest pains, weird stuff, feeling, go get checked out. I mean, don't be a dumb idiot like I was. I walked around for 2 weeks wondering why my arm and shoulder and everything hurt. I thought I pulled a muscle. I was too busy to get checked out because I was too busy covering the team. And then I'm walking into Redskin Park one day, and man, it just put me on the ground. And I'm like, my partner came along from the paper and said, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, "I don't feel good." And Bubba Tyer and his staff were on top of me a couple minutes later, and when the ambulance was coming, and they're like, "You're having a heart attack." And thank God they recognized that I didn't. And I was even in the ER for a while, and they're like, "Yeah, you're having a heart attack." I'm like, "Nah." But so back pain. Mine was worse. Back pain. I never had the real chest pain like they talk about classic. Mine was more like my back was like I had a knife sticking in me. Anyway, I was lucky. I was lucky to survive that night. And I went to Fairfax Hospital eventually. Great hospital. It's called Inova Fairfax now. I was lucky to get great medical care. So if you're having any kind of problems, man, I was 42. You wouldn't think that. My father died of a heart attack at 58. Worked himself to death too. So I was my father's son. No, I didn't pass out, Antoinette. Felt bad. You feel nauseous too. That's one of the signs. So get checked out. If it's nothing, great. But if it is something, you can save your life getting there. Same thing with strokes. They thought I had one a couple years ago because I was on the ground, couldn't move half my body. That's a classic stroke sign. Turned out to be a disc in my back. They just basically muscle spasmed me. I was very lucky, but scared. It was a come to Jesus moment. It made me lose a lot more weight. So a lot more hair. After that, I didn't have any hair left after that. Yeah, Suzanne, yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your mom at 58 also. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Women have a lot. Women have different signs as a heart attack than differently than men, and maybe it's because, to put it simply, women's chests are a lot different than men's chests. So maybe that's why. I'm not sure on that. But women suffer a lot more from heart problems than we realize. They always think it's a man's thing, but it's not. It's anybody. So get checked out. Take care of your health because you know what? You think you're important to your job. There'll be somebody else who's covering the team next day after me. Matt, just joy. Matt, good Lord, we were supposed to already be gone by now. Thoughts on Newton? I'm not. I guess they just need the help. I was surprised. I don't expect Big Phil to be around. I don't know if he'll make this season or not. Um. So, okay, grievance. Had an aneurysm. Wow. Okay, so we're old people talking about our. We tell old people talk about their aches and pains because we do because that's what's in our lives at this point. It kind of sucks, but whatever. Um, Good Lord, man, grievance. That's crazy what you did. Whew. Okay, man, these psychos are worse than me. All right, Giants picks in. Tiki Barber's going to talk about it. Clayton, you're right about pinched nerves and heart problems. That's kind of what I was thinking too. That's why I got it backwards. And thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate it. All right, so Tiki's announcing for the Giants. Tiki Barber, good player. Hated playing against. Hated watching them play against him. He was good. On there. All right, so 47th pick of the draft. New York Giants take Tyler Newburn, safety, Minnesota. That one doesn't exactly worry me greatly. Who knows? May eat that comment, but whatever. All right, Jacksonville, then Cincinnati, then Washington, then Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and then Washington. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 6 picks to the last one of Washington's. Three, and then 3 more. Getting tired of sitting here. All right. Okay. The Giants are all happy and excited and congratulating each other. All right, you're the man. We got him. I mean, this is your whole life. You know, you can be a scout. You spend a whole year doing it, and you won't take any of your players that you scouted, and you feel like, what did I spend the last year of my life doing? Well, got paid. You did what you like doing. You know, I never get to see Marty Herney. He was my partner at the Washington Times many years ago. He helped teach me the business. He's a scout and he loves being on the road. So he's hardly at Red Commanders Park now. And especially now, he gave him more of a different assignment. He's not a full-time scout so much as a consultant and kind of does some stuff. And I mean, Marty's about 70, so maybe he's coming off the road a little more. All right, Jaguars pick is in, walking to the podium. All right, I like when people move quick. All right, running back James Stewart is doing the pick. Wow, he looks good. He was a 19th pick in 95. Wow. So that means he's around 50. Oh, poor guy just said his daughter died last night. His little sister died last night. Sorry to hear that. Death. The older you get, the more you have to deal with it. All right. They're going to announce Jaguars are taking. I still can't believe Jacksonville has an NFL team, to be honest. They take Mason Smith, defensive tackle, LSU. Nice player. I don't think that factored into Washington's pick either, but I said that already tonight, and it did. All right. So Cincinnati's up next, and then Washington. Seriously, what is it? 8:23. Been talking for almost 2 hours. If you'd like to hit the $ button below me to say, hey, Rick, thanks for babbling for 2 hours for this unexpectedly when you thought it was an hour. You can hit the thanks button and throw in a few dollars for the cause. This is how you help pay for media anymore, since everything's free on the internet. And we all lost our jobs at newspapers. That's why we do things like this. That's why I started Rick Snider's Washington, because I got laid off 6 times in 8 years. It was like, do this. If it works, I'll stay. If it doesn't, I'll go work for Amazon delivering packages. So it worked. You know, you guys love watching. I do appreciate all that very much. Remember, videos every morning, 6 a.m. Most of the time it's Commanders. Probably out of 365 days a year, probably 300 days a year, it's Commanders. And then I have one around dinner time. And I've got to make the one after this. I have to do the morning. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to be ready at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see. Got to watch these third rounders too. It's going to be a long night. Anyway, so I do appreciate everybody doing it. When did Joe Gibbs have a heart attack, Joel? What year was Brunel? Well, right away when Joe really came back. All right, Bengal selection's up. All right, I like it. We're knocking them out. You know, I guess there's less trade talk about it this time. People are now, let's just make your pick. All right. So Goodell actually came out to introduce somebody. One of the NFL's charity partners, I guess it is. Somebody representing the Bengals. All right. Grievance and Westridge. Thank you both. You know, $5, I'll take it. I appreciate whatever it is. It's a way of saying people value my time too. I value yours. That's why it's 2 minutes. I don't ramble forever and make you watch a video for 5 or 10 minutes. I do it in 2. Then you can hear what you want to hear and move on your day. People really do like it that way. That was a smart idea of mine. I mean, I hit something once in a while. So, all right. So the Bengals pick is coming. Here we go. I like the Bengals white. I'm not a uniform guy at all, but I love their white striped helmet. Man, it's always a cool. That is a cool helmet. So somebody was talking today to me about why can't they go back to being Braves in Washington and claim that hey they were Boston Braves. And I agree with that. Defensive tackle Chris Jenkins of Michigan goes to Cincinnati. All right. So Washington is on the clock. If they go to commercial here, I said the over under on 5 picks tonight, and now technically they have 6. I was going to say the over under is 2 commercials breaks on the clock, and we've done one already. So you should have put that up in Vegas. I'd have bet that one. They keep sending Jacksonville to Europe to play. That's right, because the owner wants to. The owner volunteers. He wants to do London. There's a lot of talk that Jacksonville will end up being one of the 2 London teams. Because their owner has European ties. So I wouldn't be surprised. Bengals are gathering beef. That's right. I don't know what I said. It was funny, Suzanne. I've lost all consciousness at this point. I think Suzanne and Antoinette are my only 2 female viewers, but I appreciate you. That's why I said I'm going to do, kind of a quasi meetup. I'm going to do a tour of Old Town Alexandria. We'll go see colonial George Washington stuff. We'll also see Civil War stuff, 90-minute walk. And then we're going to stop at a pizza place, buy a ticket for the tour, and then you buy your own pizza. It's cheap. Be like $25 for a ticket. I'm going to limit it to whoever wants to do it probably. But, so that's going to be announced very soon. Be a Saturday. And all right, Washington's pick is in. Here we go. Troy Vincent does this one. How come Troy Vincent's doing it? Why can't Daryl just come back out? Do it again. Maybe Daryl's already gone. Took a corner out of Michigan. Mike Sanger still. Great. They said leadership is one of his things. That's not what I want to see out of a rookie like that. I want to see production. Huh. Okay. Well, I had not watched film of him. Didn't see this one coming. Okay. Watching some of his stuff. Wow. Knows how to tackle. Okay. So if you had him on your bingo card, you're ahead of the game. Mike Senior still. I have to practice talking that. Okay. Just looking at the clips and pass the smells test. How do you feel about this one? Antoinette's on defense. All right. Tape looks good. I agree. And now Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and then Washington again. So we're going to see. They probably said they had this guy way high on their boards. Man, they talk about so much nonsense. Ooh, Washington people were all clapping big time, man. Dan Quinn's now hugging Adam Peters. Ooh, give me that guy. All right. Okay. Hey, like I said, this is what you do for a living. So this is the pinnacle of your whole year. Ooh, Josh Harris just hugged just hugged Adam Peters. All right, man, it's happy time. You don't see that with Dan Snider. Now it is a big difference at Commander's Park. I've been out there recently, was in the building where the regular workers are. It's totally different energy. It used to be gloom and doom, as you might think, with Dan. Now it's a real charged energy place. Total flip. I think good things are coming. Not right away per se, but I do think we've been through the worst of times. And I think that's one reason why I'm sticking around. If they still had Snider and still sucked, I'm done. But I don't think that's what's happening now. I think that they're on the swing up. So we'll see how high they can go. Suzanne need a corner, so he just got you one. Forbes won't be cut. Not this year. He's only 1 year, and maybe the new defensive staff can do some things with Forbes and improve him. I wouldn't get rid of him yet. Never give up. Who's my man between Joe T and Mark Rippon? Oh, Joe T all the way. I mean, I like Mark personally too. But Mark rode with the tide of how great that team was. Joe T won 85 games. I think people don't respect Joe enough. Joe won a Super Bowl. Joe won 85 games. He lost a Super Bowl. He was a great player, played every game until that broken leg. I think people underappreciate Joe and Mark. Mark, was a decent quarterback who rose with the tide and got himself a ring too, and did a great job that year. Clayton Forbes can ball hawk again in the zone. Well, that's what's hope. Let's hope that they'll make changes that can play to the player's strength. Forbes was not playing in his strength, and on a team that collapsed, and he's hung out to dry, and so you almost want to put a mulligan down next to last season for Forbes, and say let's start over and see what he can do. Oh, a lot of people are back on it, so it's great. Alvin Garrett's one of them. All right, yeah, somebody's talking about Alvin. Was the story true that Snider tried to pull up on a shot and give someone the draft choices he wanted the team to pick? Suzanne says, yes. Yeah, the first rounder. I don't think he knew anybody after the first rounder. But like George Preston Marshall, the first owner of the team, used to do the draft himself. He didn't have any scouts, and he would buy magazines that, featured these people, and he would pick players based on what he read in the magazines. That's the truth. 1930s and even 40s. George Preston Marshall once picked Cal Rossi, a running back out of USC. Picked him in the first round. I think it was the fourth player. And they said, not eligible. He's still a junior. He's not out for the draft yet. So they lost the pick. So the next year, George Preston Marshall, just to show being obstinate, said, all right, I'm taking him now. You're going to see how good he is. Cal Rossi said, yeah, I don't want to play anymore. And he went to be a gym teacher and never played. And so that was 2 first-round picks that he got out of a magazine that he blew. And when we ask who's the worst first-round pick of all time, it's got to be Cal Rossi because he got 2 first-round picks and never played. That was back in the 40s. See, Ryan, thank you so much for kicking in. I appreciate it. See, Ryan knows how to hit that dollar sign. I do appreciate everybody doing that. Suzanne, thanks God Snyder's gone. I agree with you on that. Didn't like him at the start, and all of y'all were on me about, oh, you got to give him a chance. He just wants to win. I could see what he was about. One of my superpowers is sizing people up. You have to be able to do that as a newspaper guy, or else you're going to get played and look like a fool. Pittsburgh's pick is in, then Indianapolis, then Washington again, and then I'm done. I can only talk for 2 hours. You got to be tired of me by now. All right, let's see. Steelers are picking 51st pick in the draft. Is Zach Frazier, center out of West Virginia, was a wrestler. I wrestled some in school. Wrestlers are tough, man. It's all muscle. I wasn't a very good one. I just didn't have a sport to play in the winter, so I hung around wrestling when I was young because something to do. I like being on a team, but I wasn't any good at it. But wrestling's an hour of conditioning and then an hour of trying to wrestle somebody to the mat. It's hard. Football practice is easy. I'd finish wrestling season going to baseball, stand out in the outfield, wait for a ball to hit me. It was nothing compared to wrestling. So whenever I see an offensive lineman was a wrestler, that's actually a good thing. Clayton almost puked when he saw Alex go down against the Texans. Yeah, I remember that. Alvin Harper, former Cowboy, never give up. Yeah, you know what? The PR guy hated Alvin Harper so much that he wouldn't put him in the media guide and left him out of like who wore all the numbers. And years later, we finally told the new PR people, because they change PR people every few years, hey, Alvin Harper did play here and he wore that number, and it's now in the Redskins media guide or Commanders media guide. But yeah, the PR guy hated him for being a Cowboy so long. He wouldn't even put him in the media guide that year. He was here 1 year, didn't play much. Need draft offensive line, says Justin. Joel's talking about Alvin Walton. Don't get me started. If you say that name, then I'll say it wrong too. Let's see. They just put up the viewership numbers from last night. Let's see what they are. Average 12.1 million across all the ways you can watch it on digital. And then let's see, Thursday night's coverage of round 1 had an unduplicated audience, whatever that means, of 34.3 million, highest since 2021 on all the things they did. So, and 275,000 live, broke to 200,000 in Nashville in 2019. What did the commander sending a message would say? What did the commander sending me? Yeah, okay. Just confirming the pick. So 34 million. So basically 1 out of 10 Americans watched the draft last night. It doesn't seem like a lot, but yet for TV and all that now, that's a huge thing. Indianapolis's pick is in, which means Washington is on the clock, which means I'm on the clock. I still got to work after this too, but Terry Allen. I like Terry Allen, Clayton. I wrote the story about how he got caught doing 133 miles an hour in Georgia one night and had to go to jail for a week. That was quite the story. Got in an argument with his wife, took his keys, went for a drive to cool off. That's what my father always told me to do. And his big mistake was when the cops caught him, the lights went on, he didn't pull over. He decided to run from the cops. And they eventually crashed and they caught him and went to jail for a week. Matt, thank you so much for kicking in like this. I do appreciate it very much. See, where else do you hear Terry Allen smoking the bandit stories? Anyway, Colts are getting ready to name who they're having. Join the great state of Indiana. It's kind of a cool place to go cover a game. Everybody sings the national anthem at Indianapolis games. When I went to cover games there, everybody sings the national anthem. You know, I mean, they're not the only patriotic place in the world, but that was still impressive that everybody was doing it. That's right. Hit the like button, says the Grievous. All right. Donnie Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas, goes to Indianapolis. That was the guy I was picking that Washington should take. So, one before. See, you guys got cute and didn't get my guy. All right. We all have people we say, they should pick him, and then we're lucky if any of them get picked. That's true of all the medium. Clayton, talking about Jamin Davis and driving fast too. Yeah, Jamin Davis got to learn to slow down in his car. He got caught by the police a couple times. Lucky he's not in jail. Somebody's sending me a text that says Peters is not looking like Bobby Beathard right now. Okay. Who does? You know? Bobby's drafts were mixed at times. He had a great one in 81. 81 draft was Mark May in the first, Russ Grimm in the second. That's 2 hogs. Joe Jacoby was an undrafted free agent that Gibbs liked. That's the 3rd hog. Dexter Manley, Clint Didier, Charlie Brown, Daryl Grant. I mean, that was a hell of a draft. It's back when they had more. I think they had 8 rounds back then. That kind of draft can change your franchise, and it did. I mean, that's 3 hogs that set them up for the Super Bowls, among other things. And Dexter was their leading sack artist for all time for a while. Grievous, best player on the board yet? Yeah, probably. So next up is Washington with the 53rd pick. And then we're out of here. Then I'm out of here, and so are you. I mean, we're all going to go watch. I'm going to go watch on the big TV and sit on my couch and get ready to do other things. Well, I got videos for you to do and stuff like that too. Next 4 picks. There you go. Yeah, Commanders. Don't go to break. All right, pick is in for Washington. And they went to break. There they go. There's the 2. Second time out of 3 picks. ESPN. Let's see if ESPN's also on break. NFL Network just went. And ESPN. I think they do it at the same time, both of them. There you go. 2 out of 3 picks. They are on go to commercial. We're not paranoid, are we? We're right. Yeah, how many steps have I done today? You guys, somebody asked me. 15,299. Want me to prove it? I don't know lately. 15,299 for steps. I'm going to finish at 15,400. Probably by the time I walk across the house a couple of times, get something to drink and go to bed. See, I'm not an old guy. I usually average 10,000 or so a day. At 10,000, something they just made up by marketers. They say 8,000 You get health benefits from even 4,000 steps a day. 4,000 steps a day. I've been hanging out just watching TV all day, or I'm sick. But 8,000 is a good number. So don't this 10,000. It's amazing how many things in life that advertising people get in our heads. There you go. Clayton's talking about the book. Yeah, as long as we're hanging out. You can get it on Amazon if you like, or you can get it from me. I'll stick it up one more time. I'll sign it and ship it to you. Amazon can't sign it for you on there. If you'd like a copy, there aren't many left. So I'm going to do my Monday Night Live show next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to take a break for a little bit. And then, by training camp again. Well, I'll do some Mondays during May, and June during the camps. And then I'll take about a month break. And then when training camp comes back, well, we do it every Monday during the season. Did 25 last season. I missed 1 week for COVID when I got it. Went to the Kennedy Center, saw it play, and caught COVID, wife and I. Mine wasn't a big deal, but my wife took her a few months to shake it all the way. So it's different for all of us on there. Mine wasn't even a bad cold. I'm not complaining. I was lucky. What in the world? On the Bon Jovi story is commercial. I'm sitting there going, what are they doing? There's a 4-part Bon Jovi series coming? Whew, okay. We're not even halfway there. I know music. Okay, back up. Schedule release coming in May. Oh, okay, great. Thanks for that news. NFL just stuck that up there. Coming up in May. Ooh, May what? Okay. Looks like the crowd's a little smaller again in Detroit. Still huge. But it looks like a little less than it was. All right. So far tonight, they've got a defensive tackle and a corner. And we're getting ready to do the fun fact. Second time in draft history, Heisman winners were the top 2 picks. Well, that's true because Caleb Williams was last year. Oh, that is a fun fact. There you go. Is anybody having fun? George Marshall's a bad owner. Joel, he was cheap as all. I'll say that. And then, of course, he didn't want to hire black players until he was forced to. All right, pick is in. W's got to be like the worst letter. It's hard to have a nice looking W. It's funny. Some of the tourists, I've had this happen to me when I do tours. They go, man, people sure do love Walgreens in this town. I'm like, why? Because all these ball caps have this W on it. The Nats W does look like Walgreens. I have to tell them, no, it's the Nationals. Oh, here's Daryl back. All right. Here we go. The Washington Commanders select Ben Sinnott, tight end from Kansas State. Well, they needed a tight end. So, because Logan's not coming back this year. So they need a good tight end can break the back of a defense. I've always said that. So, have not watched Kansas State play, so I can't tell you much about this guy. 6'3". All right, so he's decent size. They're showing film of him now. Of course, your plays always look good here, but got good hands on that play. He hurled a player, got some athleticism to him, and then 6 players knock him down. So he couldn't quite get past them. It's not Superman. He had 49 catches last year and 6 touchdowns. So, needs a haircut. Other than that. Yeah, if I could grow hair, I'd have shoulder length hair. Probably all gray. I'd look like some old, rocker. All right. I don't have a problem with this pick, but did they have to drop back so much to make all this happen? That's the cost. Would you have been better off getting a couple guys they couldn't get while waiting? I would have probably gone the other way and taken them instead of him, but you did need a tight end. So, okay. There you go. So, and our time together has ended. I've been on 2 hours and 13 minutes. And now we have more people watching than we've had. But, all right, so there's still 3 third-round picks. We are we're about halfway through the second round, I guess, right now. Maybe a little more than that. So it's gonna be a late night on this, but I'll be back later, not live, but just videos, and we'll talk about everything they've gotten. But can't say it's. I don't know. I'm not overwhelmed by these picks, but that's okay. On it. All right. Oh, good lord. Cleveland's already picking. All right. Okay. Cleveland's right behind me. Must have knocked Daryl down to get out here. Let's stay around. So thank you all for coming tonight. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming so much. I do appreciate everybody. I'll see you on Monday for the next live show. If you watch this, you can watch this on replay. A lot of people do. Replay will be starting in just a couple of minutes. I don't know why you'd want to, but okay, if you'd like to, go ahead. And that's it for now. So thank you all so much. Steve, are you still here? Yes, Steve is here. God, I love Steve. He never leaves a minute open for me. He always is there. I like that. One of these days, I got to send you a book or something. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks you all so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the draft. I'll talk to you soon.